Hi ladies and welcome back to my channel. Today we're talking about men are obsessed with pain, especially women who give them pain. No, look, this video is, I'm just warning you right now, it's quite toxic. It's a bit dark. If this is not something you want to listen to, you should definitely leave. But this video is in no way of me telling you that you should be doing these things. This is no way of me saying it's basically, I guess you should take this video as more of like a warning. Maybe this person's already doing this to you, or maybe you're doing this without even realizing it. So this really has a lot to do with psychology and how people work and how they think. So yeah, we're just gonna get straight to it. Now think about it. The people that you can't get over or you couldn't get over, the people that you chased, they were the ones that left you in pain. They were the ones that were the hardest to get over. We normally are so obsessed with that pain. We just want it to be fixed. And we think that that person who caused us the pain is the only person that can finally release that, can finally remove that pain. This is why when, for example, a guy can't get over his ex, which I've already explained before, an ex is something that you're not able to replace. He has memories, he's been with her, he's built this emotional, thing for her. The only way he'll ever get over her is if you give him more pain than she has. This is why, for example, when women, ignore a guy, it causes pain eventually, and he'll want her even more. When she cheats on a guy, it really kills his ego if she cheats, and then he wants her even more. It all really has to do with in your head, and your head just makes you believe that that person is the only person that can remove that pain. I teach women to validate men, and I teach you to build up his ego, but to keep him more obsessed, and this is how selfish women usually win, is because they know how to keep them even more obsessed. And what they do is they build up their ego, then they attack their ego from time to time, and then that makes them the only person that can fix that man's pain. Men will remember the women who gave them pain. And now if you're asking, but what if he's a high value man? And what if he already knows these games? Or what if he has too much respect for himself? Look, if he is, you'll already know. Trust me, you'll already know that this is not something that he's going to be able to put up with. You get what I mean? And even if he is one of those guys, just know, yes, he might leave, but he will still love you more than he already has when he was with you. You will still be that woman that he can't forget. Even if he leaves, even when he goes on dates with other women, you're still the woman he can't forget. Also, see, this is the one that I don't like, but I've heard this, and I've heard a lot of men use this on women, is that they also this has nothing to do with this topic, but I heard this one, I just want to add this in. I heard this one where they look for insecurities, and then they push that on you, and then they give you what you want. So for example, let's say you're a big girl. When you're a big girl, you're a big girl, he sees that you're a big girl too. Now, he might tell you, wow, last time, maybe you started showing a little bit of more insecurity about your weight. Then he mentions, wow, no, actually, you keep losing weight and you look great. And then afterwards, he starts telling you out of nowhere, no, you know what, you actually, afterwards, let's say you go through some dates, he says, wow, you actually gained weight. What happened? And then that makes you insecure. And now you're trying to work out like crazy and then get his validation again. He knows what makes you insecure. He gave you the validation to make you feel good. Now you feel good around him. Then he put back that insecurity into you. Now you're trying to work on that insecurity. And then he validates you again. That makes you dependent on his validation. Women, I'm telling you, I've seen selfish women too. And by selfish, I mean women who could care less about guys. They will play these games from left to right. And I'm telling you, they use this. They use this on guys too, the exact same thing, the weight example, everything they can find on a guy that makes him insecure. Maybe he's a basketball player. I don't care what he is. They just find that one thing that they really are trying hard to work on. They give him the validation, take it away, and then bring it back. And then he's dependent on you for the validation. So yeah, unfortunately, you just have to know these kind of games and make sure that you're not sucked into them. You just need to be very confident in yourself and know, like, yourself, what it is that you need to work on and things that you don't need to work on. Never let a person have this kind of control over you. This is like one of those unfortunate examples when you see good men or men that most women consider like husband material. He's a nice guy, he looks good, and like the kind of dream man that most women want, whatever. They usually, you see them with those mean women, those selfish women, those women who just kind of they just know how to play games with that guy. And you're sitting there and you don't understand. You're like, I'm a good woman and I go to church, and how is this possible? Listen, it's because those men honestly just don't understand this manipulation tactic that those women use. They honestly believe, their brain, because they're so dependent on her validation, they're so dependent on her relieving that pain, their brain believes that she's the only person that can keep him like feeling good. And this makes them think that they love her. I've honestly, it's like, it's the same thing. Even when you play those games where the man acts out, then you start, going hot and cold, ghosting, disappearing. This works on them too. They're like used to you always being around. They're used to you always, talking and validating them. And now all of a sudden it's all gone. It's hard. It's the same thing when a guy's being a gentleman to you, doing all these nice things, taking you out, opening doors. And then out of nowhere, he starts getting cold or stops, doing all that effort he used to do. You're there chasing to get that effort back. It makes you freak out. You got all this validation. You got all these hopes up. You got, you just felt so good. And he just took all of that away. And it gets you to have a little bit of pain on the inside. You start thinking, what happened? What did I do? Why? Like, what went wrong? And this unfortunately works. Now, I'm not saying to use this tactic out of nowhere. I'm not saying just go out and hurt people. In my opinion, this whole like pain game, I honestly would suggest to completely not even bother. Like, if you feel like somebody is toxic or you feel like this is like a game they're playing, my personal opinion, it's better to just step back. Because if you already sense that somebody's playing this game with you, chances are they're going to play this forever. And again, my goal could be completely different from yours. The things that you're able to put up with could be completely different from mine. In my opinion, because I really want, or I don't really want, I know that that's what I'm going to do, is have more of a healthy family. I focus more on being healthy. And if I notice that a person is causing me to, come out with this toxic side, or I feel like I need to be toxic to keep a person around or keep a person interested, I'm already like telling myself, okay, there's no future with that person, because my ideal future is to have a healthy family. I think that that's the most important thing, is to be healthy, to have a healthy partner, and that way you can have healthy children. Because healthy children won't come out of you if you and your partner are constantly playing these toxic games. It just doesn't work. So be very careful on how you use this tactic. And on top of that, if you don't care about these games and you're going to go out and do them, remember there's consequences, and you never know who you're messing with. You might think you're smart and you might think that you know these games and these other people don't know anything. You'd be surprised. There are people out there who naturally, even without knowing these games, even without having dating coaches and without, reading all these psychology books, they're natural manipulators. They're natural liars. Like, they're so good at it. It's insane. They didn't even have to be taught. Like, they just know how to do these things, and you wouldn't even know it because they're so good at hiding it. Some people aren't good at hiding it, but some people are. So you never actually know who exactly you're getting yourself involved with, and you never want to hurt the wrong person. You never know what a person is capable of. This guy might be romantic today, buying you roses, doing all these romantic crap that women like, and then the next thing you know, he's a freaking serial killer. And I'm not here to try to scare you, try to start like trust issues. I'm just trying to say, be very careful with these kind of games, because you never know what they're capable of. There's always going to be someone out there who's 10 times smarter than you, 10 times more powerful than you, and they might not go to the point where they freaking kill you, but they might, seek revenge. and they want to do you 10 times worse, and you wouldn't even know it. So I'm just trying to say, take this video as more of like a warning. If you run into this kind of person, if you're going to be using this on a person, remember that there's always going to be consequences to it. You might be able to get away with it, and you might not. This is exactly why the nice girls, the good girls, never win. Like, people constantly tell you, if you go worship God, and if you go do this, and if you're in a monogamous relationship and waste all your time on a man, you'll be appreciated. You know, you're gonna get everything. You're not. Selfish women, unfortunately, always win. And I'm not trying to say that you should be a bad person and go cheat and go hurt people. Not at all. I'm just saying to not be like one of those nice girls who feels that just because she likes the guy, she has to make him feel good, and she has to make sure that he's not insecure and that he's not jealous. You know what I mean? That he has to know everywhere she is. Don't ever be one of those women. I'm telling you, those bad girls, they don't even plan this out. Like, honestly, all these tactics, they don't even plan this out. They just naturally do it. They naturally do it. They respect themselves too much that they're not going to take disrespect. Like, as soon as they feel disrespected, they just kind of, step aside, go on to the next. And that's what makes them so addicting to these men, is the fact that they don't put up with this kind of behavior. They don't try to please any man. They use whatever they gotta do to get what they want, and as soon as they feel disrespected or they don't like something, they move to the next. They might keep him around, but they're still on with the next. And believe me, if you treat him too well, no matter what guy there is, I don't care how much of a good guy he is, I don't care if he goes to church, I'm telling you right now, no matter how good you are to someone, if you're too good to him, he will take advantage of you. You do have to know where your boundaries are and how far you're gonna go for this guy, and when to step back and when to leave. Like, these are all things that I can't give you exactly what should cause you to leave. You should decide yourself on what you're able to put up with, when to leave, when to step to the side, when to use certain tactics. You need to know that yourself, based on your own target. Because like I say, you guys, like, a lot of you are looking for videos and thinking, okay, this video is going to teach me how to get whatever I want, and this video is going to teach me whatever, and like, you're looking for the easy shortcut, but you don't understand that this is it's a complete different game. Every target is different. Every man puts up with different things. Every man is going to give you this or won't give you this. Like, just because one says yes doesn't mean that the other one won't say no. Everyone is different. You have to study your target. You have to know who they are. You have to fit into the personality they want. It sounds like it sounds kind of like a psychopath, but that's unfortunately the truth, is that everyone's different. Everyone's gonna give you a different answer. Everyone's gonna react differently, and this is exactly why you need to know your target. This is exactly why I'm against the whole dating coaches and coaching people, because people tell me all the time, like, oh, let me, like, coach me, I'll pay you, like, I just want to talk to somebody about this. And it's like, I'm not the person to go to, and those people are also not the real people to go to. The only way you can get coached properly is to get an actual psychologist that you can actually go to together, so that guy can say what he has to say and you can say what you have to say. Because if I'm coaching you through Instagram or whatever, I'm only hearing your side. I don't know who he is. I don't know what you've done to him. You're only going to tell me what you want me to hear. I'm not going to be able to understand why he's acting a certain way or why he's doing this but not doing that. This is exactly why I constantly say, do not trust these dating coaches. I'm not trying to, like, I know that this is going to get me attacked and all the people are going to be like, you're just jealous, we're taking money, and why do you got to be like this? But this is the truth. If you want actual help, the only way it will actually work is if both of you go see a psychologist. That's the only way. You're not going to be able to get coached properly one-on-one and think that you're going to be able to, like, gain something. The only way a person can really coach you is maybe to tell you how to play that other person, become toxic, and maybe something will come out of it, maybe not. In general, it's just, in my opinion, it's a big waste of time. So honestly, the best advice I can give is study your target and figure out what it is that they're going to be able to put up with, what they won't put up with, and basically see from there where it goes, because not everything is going to work on that person. And just understand that every guy has this little child inside of him. Like, example, when you go to, like, I don't know, maybe he's looking for motorcycles, you guys are going to look at motorcycles, you'll see that little child coming out of him. He'll get on the motorcycle, start playing around with it, looks to the side, sees another motorcycle, wants to play with that too, looks to the side, sees another motorcycle, wants to play with that too. And you see that little child coming out of him, and I'm just saying that they are basically like little children. They will test you and see what they have to do to get what they want out of you. A child is gonna cry to get your attention and to get something out of you. That's why I count meows. Because they know that that's how you communicate and how they get their attention. I've even literally seen children hit their moms or dads, hit with their hands to get attention or to get what they want. When I was a child, I remember seeing other kids cry and they would constantly get the attention and they get exactly what they want right away. And I was always mad because I remember my parents, every time I cried, I'm telling you, not a reaction, not a word. I would get literally dragged to the room closes, and that's it until I stop crying. Like, that's it. Like, no reaction. I don't get what I want at all. And since then, I'm not bragging about it, but I haven't cried because I realized that I was just not getting what I wanted from crying. The crying stopped really fast, I'm telling you. Like, that's just how it is. I'm not saying that they're gonna use these things, but I'm just saying they will test you. They will see what they have to do. If they have to play these manipulation games, the validation games, they will do it if they realize that that's what they have to do to get what they want. And you have to decide whether you're going to put them in their place or whether you won't. If you ignore them, if you step to the side, if you move on to the next, know where your boundaries are so that you don't get played, so that you're not giving them what they want. They have to give you what you want. Us humans are honestly so addicted to pain that we focus more on the pain and the bad things that happen to us in our lives than the good things and the things that we've accomplished. The good things, yeah, we remember them, and yeah, sometimes from time to time we praise ourselves, but it's very short. That praise we give ourselves is very short. Then it goes back to the bad. Think about it. Even when you're sitting alone in your room and you're in your thoughts, they usually they wander to like the bad pasts, the things that happened to you in the past, the problems that you're dealing with right now, the problems you've dealt with before, the mistakes you've made before. We are so desperate for happiness. It doesn't even matter what level we get in life. We will always find a problem. You might get to your goals and maybe you got like the fake breasts that you want, and you got the villa that you want, and you got the jet that you want. Still, you will always, always, always find another problem. Whether it's about yourself, your circle, your partner, your kids, I don't care. Like, we're literally constantly searching for more problems to fix, to gain that little bit of happiness that's very short when we get it, and then it goes back to problems. This is why pain is so addicting, because even when you're sitting alone in your thoughts, you're constantly focused on the pain. You're focused on how to fix that pain, because you think that if you fix that pain, it's going to be finally over and you won't need anything else. But even when you fix it, you're still going to go back to it. And that's unfortunately the truth. Like, it's just how it is. And you need to understand that this tactic specifically is not really something that will even work if you're using it right away. Just because you're hearing this, you can't just be like, okay, I can use it right away and I'm going to get him in pain. No, like, the way selfish women use this without even realizing they use this is that they go there, they get their target, they know their target. They lower their guards down by giving them the validation, by making him feel like the man, making him believe that he really got her. Getting his hopes up, making him think there's sex around the corner. And then when the time is right, they know when the time is right, they use this tactic. They cause the pain, which eventually leads to obsession, which leads him to being obsessed with her. They might use this tactic because he, got too comfortable, or maybe she started noticing he's trying to take advantage. He's trying to test her. And she turns it right back to him. And now here he is. He's basically obsessed. Like, he can't get over her now. And look, it's either you're the player or you're the one that's going to get played. I'm not saying that every single person is out there to play you dirty. I'm just saying that you need to be willing to accept that you have a very high chance of getting played. Like, extremely high chance. A lot of people try to say, oh, there's more good people than bad people. No. Even people who are good have a selfish side to them that it will eventually come out. Like, it's just how it is. A person can't be really good 24/7. People eventually get comfortable and they start taking advantage of that comfort with the other person. Like, don't ever think that somebody is going to be 100% perfect with you and that you're 100% perfect yourself. This is just how the world works. And just because somebody treated another person like crap doesn't mean that they're going to treat you the exact same way. You know what I mean? Like, everyone values you different. Everyone views you differently. So understand that you really need to know who you're dealing with. That's all. And I'm not trying to say that there's no like people out there who are 100% faithful and 100% good and are really going to be there for you. In my experience, the guys that I was actually able to say I could wake up and know that I trust them 100%, from my experience, were just religious guys. And I think because religion had control over them, or they were really focused on that more. I haven't yet met a guy who's like an atheist or something that I can honestly say he doesn't have like a selfish side coming out of him or whatnot. So again, I'm not saying you have to put up with that. I'm saying know what you're going to be putting up with, know what flaws you put up with, know what kind of person you're willing to be, where your boundaries are. You know what I mean? Like, if you meet a person who's really good to you, consider yourself extremely lucky, especially if you're like already partnered up with them, you really actually genuinely like them. Consider yourself extremely lucky. It's very, very hard to find a person who to the end is going to be 100% with you, honest, kind, caring, because people change. You know, it's just how it is. People do change. People do get comfortable. It's unfortunate, but it's just the reality. And instead of getting upset and saying, oh, why does the world have to be like this? You just need to accept it and play along. Like, it's better to just play along and understand how things work instead of complaining constantly, because nothing's going to change. And understand that. And the reason why I'm saying that you have a high chance of getting, effed over is because these players, they're also on the hunt. They're also on the hunt for good people. They put on their best behavior and they try to find a person that's going to be able to put up with their behavior. They try to figure out if she's kind enough, how much she's willing to put up with too. Like, they're trying to see if they can get away with their, actions as well. So you need to know exactly what it is that you're looking for and how much you're willing to put up with. In my opinion, you meet a guy and you're saying to yourself, okay, these flaws are not bad, but I don't see a future. You keep him on the side. You keep him on the side. You should know exactly what it is that you want. I'm not saying you're going to find somebody who's 100% perfect. Just know what you're able to put up with. Try to like set your standards at a... I don't want to get too into it, but your standards obviously shouldn't be like extremely high to the point where you're like, he can't be selfish and he can't, get comfortable and he can't do this and he can't do that. Understand how human beings work and just go along with how the world works. Like, it's just, there's nothing you can do. It doesn't matter how much you complain. This is how the world works. The best advice that I can give in this situation right now is to figure out a way to remove that emotional side of you and always think logically. Deep down, every woman knows, and she feels it in her intuition, whether a guy can fully be trusted or not. Your intuition always tells you when there's something wrong with his actions, words, behavior. And instead of you actually trusting that intuition and listening to it and acting onto it, you prefer to call yourself an overthinker, to convince yourself that you're overthinking everything and that you're thinking too far. But reality is, this is the reason why you're telling yourself this, is because you don't want to start over and find somebody new. Because you don't want to go through all the dates, get disappointed all the time, and then when you finally find someone good, get disappointed again. But this is just the reality. It takes quite a few months to truly know a person. Like, it's just... From my experience, it took quite a few months to really know. It took literally from 3 to 4 months to really see who a person is. And usually I try to really act stupid. Not too stupid, but you get to you understand what level of stupidity I have to get to. And really kind for them to finally lower their guards down and really show who they are. Because even when you try to act nice and you give them validation, they still want to try and convince you that they are that man they're trying to show you. The chances of them to actually stay that man for another 3 to 4 months is very rare. It's very hard to keep up with that mask. Even for you, even when you try to like be making them think they found their ideal person, even for you, it's hard. It's very hard to stay that person that you're trying to pretend to be. And that is how you really figure out who he is. And your intuition is going to tell you. You don't need to question whether they're right for you. When you found the right person, you know it 100%. And even with my last video that I posted, I said, do not ever trust a guy 100%. Because you shouldn't. You should always be on the lookout, or should always sit to the side. But deep down, you really know whether a person can really be trusted 100%. And when you question it and you start questioning what's going on, it's because it's because your intuition is trying to tell you something. That something is not right, and your intuition is 100% correct. I've never in my life had an intuition about a person and been wrong. Ever. And I know that you have always had an intuition about a person and you've never been wrong, because our intuition is never wrong. It is not true that we're overthinkers. It is not true that we're crazy. It's the fact that you know, but you don't want to accept it. And maybe you had your intuition and you tried to have a conversation with that person and they were able to manipulate you into believing that you were crazy. Your intuition is never, ever, ever wrong. Girl, you have to be like completely crazy for your intuition to be wrong. Like, you have to be one of those people who just really like is just completely crazy. I don't know. I've never met a person like that, but intuitions are never wrong, ever. You know when someone's not right. Back into this topic. Again, the real reason why these women win these guys over is because they have these kind of like narcissistic traits in them. And what they do is they basically figure out their target. They make him believe that, you know, she's the ideal person for him. They study him. They study what he likes, what he doesn't like, you know, what he's looking for. And that guy ends up thinking that he found the one. He found the right woman who just happens to have this like little sexual side to her, which gets him excited, because men love that. They think that they have this innocent girl that comes with danger, the wild side to you that they believe you have, whatever. It kind of equals to danger for them. Nice girls, there's no danger. Boring, predictable. Bad girls, selfish girls, there's danger because they're unpredictable. It's fun. You don't know what you expect. And it's addicting. It's just how it is. Okay, ladies, so that is it for today. I apologize, this video turned out to be way longer than I expected. But yeah, if there's anything else that you wish I would work more on, topics you wish I would talk about, things that you think I should have added or anything, definitely let me know. And yeah, love you all.